16-year-old rang the wrong doorbell and ended up fighting for his life in court. But just when justice was served, a chilling message arrived: it's not over. Welcome back to the Untold Struggles, the channel where we bring to light the battles of the voiceless and the stories that too often get buried. Today's story is one of fear, injustice, and an unimaginable act that changed a young man's life forever. Stay tuned, because what started with a simple mistake ended with a community divided and a system exposed. And remember, hit that subscribe button so you never miss another untold struggle. 16-year-old Andre Collins was just an ordinary teen. Quiet, respectful, and smart, he dreamed of becoming a computer engineer. On a warm Friday evening, he left basketball practice with a favor to do: pick up his younger sister Naomi from a friend's house. But Andre had never been to that neighborhood before. The houses looked similar, the numbers small and hard to read in the fading light. He walked up to what he thought was the right address, raised his hand, and rang the doorbell. Seconds later, the sound that would change his life forever echoed through the air. Bang! Andre collapsed, his chest burning. He hadn't even spoken a word. Through blurred vision, he saw the door swing open. A tall white man with silver hair, Gerald Whitfield, stood holding a smoking pistol. "You people don't belong here," he spat. Andre's world went black. Andre woke in the hospital days later. His mother, Lorraine Collins, sat by his bed, her eyes swollen from tears. "You were shot, baby," she whispered, clutching his hand. "He said you tried to break in. But we know that's a lie." Andre's body shook. I just rang the doorbell." Lorraine pressed her forehead against his. "I know. And the world's going to know too." But Gerald Whitfield wasn't just any man. He was a retired police officer, respected, connected, and powerful. And he was already painting Andre as the aggressor. Within hours, the local news ran Gerald's version of events. Homeowner defends property against suspicious teen. They showed a photo of Gerald in uniform, smiling proudly. But the photo they chose for Andre? A cropped image from his basketball team, face serious, hood up, making him look menacing. On social media, the comments poured in. Why was he at that door anyway? Another thug up to no good. He got what he deserved. Andre's mother screamed at the TV. "They're turning my baby into a criminal." The neighborhood split into two camps. Some stood with Andre, outraged that a boy nearly lost his life for simply knocking on the wrong door. Others defended Gerald, calling him a hero who protected his home. Tension simmered. Protesters marched outside Gerald's gated home, chanting justice for Andre. Meanwhile, counter-protesters waved flags, shouting, "Defend our protectors." Andre, still weak in his hospital bed, saw the chaos he never wanted. "I didn't want this," he whispered. But he had no choice. If you're watching this and your heart is breaking for Andre, hit that subscribe button right now. Stories like his are too often ignored, and together we can keep the spotlight on the truth. When charges were finally filed, Gerald was only accused of reckless endangerment, not attempted murder. Lorraine nearly fainted when she heard. Reckless. He shot my son in the chest. The courtroom was packed. Reporters scribbled. Cameras clicked. Andre sat in a wheelchair, pale but steady. Across the room, Gerald smirked like a man who knew the system was built for him. The prosecution argued. He shot an unarmed teenager for ringing a doorbell. This wasn't defense. This was hate. But Gerald's defense painted a different story. He feared for his life. A large male approached his home aggressively. He acted to protect himself. Each word cut into Andre's soul. Then came the moment no one expected. The prosecution revealed ring camera footage from a neighbor across the street. On the screen, the jury saw everything. Andre calmly walked up. He rang the bell once. He waited. The door flew open, and without warning, Gerald fired. Gasps filled the courtroom. The footage was undeniable. Gerald's face went pale. For the first time, the power shifted. After weeks of testimony, the jury delivered its verdict. Guilty. The courtroom erupted. Lorraine wept, clutching Andre's hand. Reporters swarmed outside as protesters cheered. Andre spoke softly into the microphones. "I'm not a threat. I'm not a thug. I was just a kid ringing a doorbell. If my skin was a different color, maybe I wouldn't be here in this chair. But today, We showed the truth matters. Hate won't win. The clip spread worldwide. Andre became a symbol of resilience. But just when peace seemed possible, a dark message arrived. Late one night, Lorraine opened her mailbox. Inside was a single piece of paper with 3 chilling words. "It's not over." The ink was smeared, the handwriting rushed. Lorraine's knees buckled. "Andre," she whispered, her voice shaking, "they're still coming for you." Andre looked at the letter, his jaw tightening. He knew this fight was only beginning. The family went to the police. Officer Daniels skimmed the letter, leaned back, and sighed. "We'll keep this on record," he said casually. "Probably just a prank. People send letters like this all the time." Lorraine's voice cracked. "A prank? My son was almost killed in this very town. And now someone is threatening him again." Daniel shrugged. "We'll keep an eye out." As they left the station, Lorraine hissed, "Keep an eye out? They don't care, Andre. They never cared." Andre's jaw clenched. He was starting to see it too. The following week, new things started happening. Andre noticed an unfamiliar black SUV parked near their street. Always the same vehicle. Always watching. Naomi swore she saw a man standing outside her school, staring at her before disappearing into the crowd. And one night, as Andre struggled to sleep, he heard footsteps on the porch. When he wheeled himself to the window, the figure was gone. But on the porch swing, a bullet casing glinted in the moonlight. Desperate, Lorraine reached out to attorney Marcus Hale, a young black lawyer who had built his reputation exposing corruption in their county. "Mrs. Collins," Hale said firmly, flipping through their files, "this isn't random. Gerald Whitfield might be behind bars, but he had allies. Old police buddies. Community members who saw him as a hero. And they don't like that your son exposed him." Andre spoke up, his voice steady. "So what do we do? Hide? Or fight?" Hale looked him in the eye. "If you want to survive this, Andre, we fight." Hale organized a town hall meeting. Cameras rolled. Spectators packed the church basement. Lorraine spoke first, holding the letter high. "My son rang a doorbell. For that, he was shot. Now, even after justice, we are still being terrorized. My question is, when will it end?" Murmurs spread through the room. Some nodded in support. Others crossed their arms, muttering angrily. Then a man stood. Stocky, red-faced, veins bulging in his neck. "You people are milking this," he growled. Gerald was a good man. He defended himself. And now you're trying to paint the whole town as racist. Boos and shouts erupted. The tension was suffocating. Andre gripped his wheels, his voice rising above the noise. "I didn't ask for this. I didn't ask to be shot. I didn't ask for the lies, the threats, or the fear. But if my pain can open your eyes, then maybe it was meant to happen. Because hate doesn't stop at my door. It's poisoning all of us." The room fell silent. Cameras zoomed in. Andre had spoken with more power than anyone expected. Days later, Hale's warning came true. Andre was on his way home from therapy when the black SUV reappeared. This time, it didn't just sit there. It sped up. The vehicle swerved toward his wheelchair on the sidewalk. Andre's heart stopped. At the last second, a bystander, Jamal, a young delivery driver, yanked him out of the way. The SUV screeched, tires smoking, before vanishing down the street. Andre gasped for air, his hands trembling. "They tried to kill me." Jamal nodded grimly. "They're not playing games, bro. If you've made it this far, then you see how deep this struggle goes. Andre's life is hanging in the balance, and the system doesn't want to protect him. If you believe his truth needs to be heard, hit subscribe right now, because the fight is far from over." Attorney Hale wasn't idle. He dug deep, pulling old files, calling in favors. What he uncovered shook the Collins family. The subs plates traced back to a man named Detective Raymond Cross, a retired officer who used to work alongside Gerald Whitfield. Cross had a history, complaints of excessive force, racial profiling, and intimidation. None of them stuck. Every case was buried. "This isn't just Gerald's ghost," Hale explained. "This is a network. A brotherhood. They are protecting each other. And they want to scare you back into silence." Lorraine's voice trembled. "They'll never stop," Will they? Andre, for the first time since being shot, sat straighter. Then neither will I. Hale got his hands on a recording. It came from a secret meeting of Gerald's old allies, caught on tape by a brave informant. On the audio, Cross's voice boomed. That boy humiliated Whitfield. He made us all look weak. We'll finish what Whitfield couldn't, one way or another. The tape leaked to the press. Overnight, the story exploded again. Headlines blared. Ex-cop network linked to threats against teen shooting survivor. The town was on fire. Supporters rallied harder. Opponents grew louder. And Andre. He became a symbol bigger than himself. At a candlelight vigil, Andre spoke with a calm strength that hushed the crowd. They think I'm weak because I'm young. Because I'm black. Because I was shot and they thought I'd stay silent. But I'm still here. And as long as I'm breathing, I'll fight, not just for me, but for every kid who's ever been told their life doesn't matter. The crowd roared. But the more Andre spoke, the more dangerous things became. One night, after the vigil, the Collins family returned home. Their living room window was shattered. On the floor lay a single object, a brick. Taped to it was another note. This time, in bold red ink, it read, "Next time, it won't miss." Lorraine screamed. Naomi cried. Andre picked up the note, his hand shaking but his eyes burning with quiet fire. "They're coming harder now," he whispered. And somewhere in the shadows, the SUV engine growled, waiting. To be continued. Andre survived the shooting, exposed the lies, and now uncovered a network of hate. But with threats escalating and a brick through his window, how far will his enemies go? And can justice truly protect him this time? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Untold Struggles, because Andre's fight is just beginning.